Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a battle in the Shinonome. I'm not really good at pronouncing that, but anyway, this is the Tier 6 Premium Destroyer that you would have received upon completion of the Honorable Service campaign. So I actually have had this ship for quite some time, but haven't really sailed her out very often, but you'll notice that I'm grouped up with Thotgor, who's actually one of my roommates as well. So I've got two roommates, Rommel and Thotgor, and he just happened to be playing, or saw me playing ships and wanted to jump in, so he jumped into his Oba. Now I thought it funny right off the bat, because first you should know Thotgor doesn't play ships at all. I think tier 6 is his highest tier, doesn't play it at all. Anyway, he gets into battle, first thing he does, you might have noticed there in chat, is recommends B and C. He's in the other room from me, so I just start yelling at him and laughing, and look at him go. You can even see the Queen Elizabeth there in the background, puts a few shots across his bow, just like, no, where are you going, cruiser? This is wrong. So he starts cursing at me, saying, I don't know what's going on. I was, oh, whatever, man. You do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. But you'll see as the battle progresses. It does kind of work out. You can see the rest of my team, though, does recognize the fact that it's fault line. We've had this map in the game since forever, and A is always, especially in domination, A is always going to be an early point that you want to capture. C isn't so great, I don't find, mostly because you're so limited in your maneuverability there in C. There's not a lot of room, so it's a little more difficult. If you can manage to charge in there with a few destroyers and cruisers, it could go all right, but chances are it probably won't. But anyway. Others probably have found different things on this map, obviously, but I always find A. So move into A, start capping A. You can see him spotted. We've got an enemy destroyer off in the distance, so I'll put a few shots into the enemy player. I wasn't looking to pop my smoke right away. It's something that I generally do in my destroyers, unless the situation is dire, then I will pop the smoke for myself, but I do try to use the smoke to my team's advantage as much as possible. But you can see with my steering gone here, I figure I may as well just pop the smoke. We can see the enemy destroyer there off in the distance. Looks like the player's about to ground himself, so I'm going to go ahead and launch some torpedoes over in that direction. And there are torpedoes coming in for me. Now, luckily, I am able to avoid those torpedoes, which is fantastic, obviously. Now, the Shinonome has 3 torpedo launchers with 3 torpedoes in each, and I do like to cycle my torpedoes. I don't like firing all of my torpedoes off at one target. I find it just limits me too much. Maybe I'm just not good enough firing torpedoes to get the hits that some other people maybe are able to get, but I just find I waste all my torpedoes on one target, they all miss, and then I'm stuck waiting for a reload. Whereas if I cycle my torpedoes, I usually have torpedoes ready to go, or I've got some, coming up almost ready to go. A pleasant surprise here I found with the Shinonome, and I have no idea if this is, specific to the ship, or if it's a trait of the Fubuki now at tier 6, because I haven't played the Fubuki since it got to tier 6, or dropped to tier 6 anyway, but the torpedoes seem to reload quite quickly. I always seem to have, and again that comes to cycling as well, but always seem to have torpedoes ready to go. So you can see the enemy is putting up a valiant defense here at A. We've got at least 2 destroyers that I need to contend with. But the remainder of the enemy ships that we see here anyway do seem to be over on the C side of the map. So, you do see that the enemies were able to charge in there and cap C relatively easily. I myself just not willing to risk my ship to go in there and take it, and it did definitely work out for the enemies, but whatever. We're going to continue sailing around here in A, just trying to keep the point blocked, but more importantly, I'm also maneuvering around, right? You don't want to stay in the same place when you're in a destroyer for too long, especially if you have popped your smoke. Smoke is a torpedo magnet. I'm pretty sure we talked about it before, but smoke's a torpedo magnet. As soon as people see it, and if they're already going to fire torpedoes and they don't have a target, they might just fire torpedoes off in the smoke, much like I just did, right? I know that there are destroyers somewhere in that smoke. They're somewhere, and I want to find them. There's one of them, so we're going to start engaging this player here with my guns, and just continuing to stay in the cap as best I can to try and get this point for my team. Continuing to launch torpedoes, we can see we get a really nice shot there by the Queen Elizabeth player. Very, very nice shot, and took out that enemy destroyer quite quickly, and I was quickly able to commend the player as well. We can see Thotgor is coming back into the picture here as well. You can see it, you know, it kind of worked out in that he went away for a little while, circled back, and came back. Eventually came to reason. Notice that no one else on their team was going to go to C, and does come in and provide some support. Now we do get the other second enemy destroyer destroyed there as well, which is great. Now it's just a matter of capping this point and moving on to B. And hopefully there as well, you know, providing a pretty good defense and eventually taking the point is what we want to do. Now, no one as of yet has been able to take B. Again, it looks like the enemies were mostly focused over there at C. And you could even say that, you know, with the lack of maneuverability at C, that it does take a bit of planning to get your ships into C, cap it, and get them out as quick as you can so that they're not just then all bottled up at C trying to go around the long way to get themselves into B. You do need to make use of that little channel there. But anyway, we've managed to cap the point, and now we're going to move into B. I pretty much have all of my allies behind me as well, pushing into B, so this is great. I have lots of support, and I'm essentially just going to act as their eyes as I push in. And that's what you're going to notice in this replay as we progress along here in the battle. This isn't a battle here where we do, you know, a whole bunch of damage. It's basic destroyer stuff here is what we're doing, providing the eyes for our team. You know, deterring enemies obviously with our torpedoes, right? Making sure that the enemies stay away, and hopefully as well hitting people with those torpedoes, but providing you know, those eyes, the forward recon for my allies, so that the battleships in the back have something to shoot at. It's very, very important because I don't have the firepower definitely to take on all of these enemy ships that we see here coming up in front of us, right? We've got two battleships, there's a cruiser, another battleship pops up. So we do definitely want to play it safe as we get closer into B, because definitely know that the enemies could be making a play at B. They still do have one destroyer. I'm not quite sure where that destroyer is as of yet, but it could be that the destroyer is making a play at B as well, so just want to be on our guard. Now we do have our smoke ready to go in case we do need it, taking a look at some of the enemy ships there in the distance, trying to judge, you know, whether or not I'm going to be able to hit them with torpedoes. The torpedoes themselves, I believe, have an 8-kilometer range, so you don't get the 10-kilometer range that the Fubuki or the I think the Hatsuharu now is at tier 6 as well. You don't get the 10 kilometers that you would get on those destroyers, but you can definitely make the 8-kilometer work. I mean, the Shinonome here as well has a pretty good concealment radius, so it's, you know, you're pretty safe in getting within torp range of the enemies, and being able to launch those torps, hopefully hitting some. I haven't been able to as of yet. But you can see that we are capping B. We haven't had any enemy resistance as of yet, so I was quite surprised to see that we have cap B. Once we cap B, I figure that my, you know, kind of role of getting up here, capping the point, securing it, is more or less over. I still do want to be cognizant of the fact that the enemy may counterattack and take the point themselves, but what I'm more interested in doing at this point in time in the battle is actually starting to do more damage to the enemy, right? Get some torpedo hits. We can see the other enemy destroyer off there in the distance. Not sure what that player is doing out there. Probably chasing our battleship. You have to remember, people, do not chase ships. Just don't do it. If the enemy wants to go all the way to the edge of the map and take themselves out of the battle for a few minutes, you know, maybe consider doing or letting them do it. I know if it's a battleship, they'll probably repair and come back, but still, you know, it might give you an opportunity to stay near the caps or stay near a strategic point and take that point for your team. So we launch off our torpedoes there at some enemies as they're coming around the islands. I was feeling pretty good about those torpedoes. I figured, yeah, those enemies, you know, they didn't see me. There's no planes in the sky to detect my torpedo, so hopefully those will be good torpedoes, assuming the enemies don't maneuver. Yeah, it's a big assumption, I know. So we see some torpedoes coming out for an Iron Duke there off in the distance. I do still have my Iron Duke. I haven't been playing her too much. I've been more focused on the second year anniversary gifts that have been going on here in ships. I've been playing my tier 10s, getting my super containers, which have been great. I hope that, you know, any of you who have tier 10s have been enjoying those as well. So far I got, I only have 4 tier 10s, so I got a 50 Valentine camo, 50 Ocean Soul camo. I got a week of premium, and what was the fourth? The fourth was some, that stupid, like, radar module increase majiggy thing that they added. I don't like those, but I'm sure maybe I should take a look at them. I don't like them, but anyway, I got one of those. But hopefully today I'll get 4 more, and we'll see what happens with those. Now you can see that I am pushing away from the cap now. We can look on the minimap and see that we do have a number of allies there in the cap, so I'm feeling pretty secure about the cap itself. We are, you know, kind of pushing back the enemies, just trying to keep them out of the center. So this is just going to negate the possibility of them actually coming in and trying to take the point from us, which is what we want to accomplish. Now I am spotted because there's an enemy destroyer that has popped up, and I really didn't expect to see that player there, and I was a little concerned about the Leander. I mean, those British cruisers can fire rapidly, and against destroyers they do quite a bit of damage. So I'm pop my smoke, and I'm going to try and hide. We can see one of my allies does manage to take out the enemy destroyer, so this is great. That was the last enemy destroyer, by the way, so we're in pretty good shape here to win the battle. And again, I'm trying to get some damage here, just something. I know that I guess not to toot my own horn, I don't want to sound conceited, but I did a decent job being a destroyer, you know, taking the points and whatnot. But at this point, I just want damage. I just want some more damage, something. And I do believe that there are going to be some enemy ships over here coming around the island, so that's essentially what I'm waiting for. Now, I couldn't spot any of them, so I did have to come out of my smoke. Really, I didn't need the smoke anymore, especially considering that enemy destroyer was taken down, so I didn't really need the smoke too much. Now, we do see some enemies popping up. And if we look at the minimap, we can see that there's at least 2 enemies here in the north, and then we see 2 enemies in the south. So that does mean that there's at least 2 more enemies somewhere that we don't know. Now we see a 3rd enemy in the north, so okay, we're starting to track some of these guys down, so this is good. We fire 2 spreads of torpedoes off the Leander. Those spreads, though, aren't going to hit. I mean, the Leander most likely did see or is able to guess that I launched torpedoes, and all the player has to do is go forward and get into some cover. A good positioning there by that enemy Leander. So we are going to have to pull away, hopefully become unseen. I don't want to take too much enemy fire, because with the destroyers, you know, they're obviously you have the least amount of hit points. You can't take too much damage before you start dying, and that's something that I do want to avoid. So we're going to launch off some more torpedoes here at some of these enemy ships that are coming into view. We can see 2 enemy battleships, and I do actually manage to get 2 torpedo hits on those players. Really wasn't expecting that. If you recall, those torpedoes were for the Leander. Now the Leander did also launch the torpedoes as well at me, but I do manage to avoid those torpedoes, and we're going to launch some more torpedoes at these enemy battleships and see if I can't get some more damage dealt to these players. Now, one thing that has to be said, of course, about cycling your torpedoes the way I'm doing, I mean, I guess it does come down to personal preference, right? Like, whatever your skill level is or your intuition is with the shot of torpedoes you're about to fire off as to whether or not you should fire all of them or not. Total, personal opinion on that, or sort of, personal opinion on that matter. But I will say that it's not always about, just launching your torpedoes, getting, doing all that damage at once and getting that devastating strike and taking that enemy ship down, right? Like, you do want to, or if the situation calls for it, slowly peck away at the enemies with your torpedoes. 1 or 2 torpedo hits here from, 1 or 2 salvos here and there, it can go a long way to, sort of working over the enemies, reducing their hit point pool. It definitely does help. Now we can see that we do have some enemy ships here in front of me, and they're fairly close. Now luckily my smoke was ready to go, so I did pop my smoke, and I'm hiding my smoke, and I am definitely launching torpedoes off at these enemy battleships, trying to get some more hits, do some more damage, and get these players gone for my allies, right? So we get 2 more torpedo hits there on the enemy New York, so that's pretty good. We have some flooding going as well, so not too bad. You can see my allies are now focused on the enemy New York, and that player will quickly be gone. So we'll launch some torpedoes now at the enemy New Mexico. There goes the enemy New York. I do manage to get the kill on that player, so that's not too bad. And as well, you know, my damaged lust has been quenched. Ever so slightly, but quenched, because now we're sitting on 63,000 damage with the few torpedo hits we got on the players, so that's not too bad. But I am concerned about this enemy New Mexico. We see more torpedoes coming in from the Leander, and I'm concerned about the enemy New Mexico because this player is coming straight at me. And so I really don't want to miss the next incoming torpedo salvos. It'd be a different situation if the New Mexico was on, you know, full health. The player's on fairly low health, so I just need one torpedo hit to get this player gone and to save myself. Or, you know, maybe even an ally to come in and take the player down for me. That'd be great as well. But I was concerned about the New Mexico, because the New Mexico captain was doing, you know, and I do get the kill, but the New Mexico captain was doing what a battleship captain, I think, should do in that situation, where you know that there's a destroyer pretty much right next to you. Just go bow on to that destroyer. It gives you the best chance possible of being able to avoid torpedoes, and you know, just save your bow guns, save those guns for when that destroyer pops up, and put the shots into the destroyer and get the destroyer gone as quick as you can. I mean, obviously it didn't work out for the New Mexico, and it's not going to work out every time. You are going to eat a torpedo, and if it kills you, it kills you. But I think in that situation that's probably the best thing you can do. Just bow on straight into the smoke and pray that that destroyer pops up and is out of torpedoes. So battle is over. Victory is ours. Now we get to take a look at what are some of the results here. And another reason why I was playing the Shinonome was because I wanted to get some of these missions accomplished, right? Some of these secret achievements that they've got going on for the anniversary. See, I don't know if they're secret, but anyway, you can see, and I do manage to get quite a few, so I was quite happy with the overall results here of the battle. On top of that, I did complete another combat mission. I'm not sure if this was the one for Back to the Basics for my destroyers, but whatever. I do finish top of the team overall. We can see that the spread on the team was pretty good. We did have some definitely nice and great showings by some other players here on the team. Notably, the Queen Elizabeth player comes to mind. When all is said and done, we do end up walking away with 333,000 credits. And some experience and commander experience for the commander here on the Shinonome, so that's not too bad at all. I was happy enough with the battle. The Shinonome, yeah, she's good. She's a good little destroyer. I'm satisfied that this was provided for free upon completion of the honorable service campaigns, which, you know, were nice to do anyway because you got the rewards going through. But anyway, that is today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. I love reading those and responding back to them. Remember to hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.